Target student Clifford Howard. Clifford was evaluated on April 12, 2016 at the request of his parents and the school district. Clifford is a 12-year-old African-American male in the 6th grade. He is currently receiving special education services in the Nashville Elementary School. He attends the Resource Math classroom for 225 minutes per week and the Resource Language Arts classroom for 225 minutes per week. He attends Science and Social Studies in the General Education classroom. He also attends specialty classes including art, music, keyboarding, in the General Education classrooms. He's currently placed in the alternative learning environment because of behavior challenges in the large General Education settings. He also receives school-based mental health counseling as needed. He recently transferred to Nashville School District from Hope, Arkansas, where he was afforded special education services based on a classification of specific learning disabilities. Clifford and his sister live with their mother, Sue Wiseman, and stepfather. His 18-year-old brother is currently incarcerated, and his 16-year-old brother was removed from the home at an early age. Ms. Wiseman admits that Clifford experienced prenatal drug, caffeine, and tobacco exposure. Information regarding his birth weight and health is not reported. He was almost 2 before he walked and almost 3 before he developed speech. Clifford has some trouble making himself understood, which frustrates him. His mother adds that her brother had speech problems as well. Medical history is remarkable for high fevers during infancy, and Clifford has sleeping problems. He also has limitations in physical activity according to his mother, but an explanation was not provided. But he has had no serious accidents or head injuries. Clifford was given the school-based vision and hearing screenings on March 17, 2016 and passed without difficulty. He was given the Visual Motor Integration Exam, the BG2, which measures visual motor integration skills in children and adults from ages 4 to 85. And what visual motor integration is it is the communication between the eyes and the hands. It determines your ability to copy, draw, and write what you see. In the test, Clifford was shown stimulus cards with different designs and asked to copy each of the designs on a blank sheet of paper. And in the recall phase, Clifford was asked to redraw designs from memory. Clifford was functioning at a raw score of 69, which is in the 2nd percentile. Average scores are anywhere between 90 and 110, so he did show extreme fine motor delays. Students who struggle with this may struggle with handwriting as well. He was given the TAPS-3 test of auditory processing skills, and this is a diagnostic test of auditory, sequential memory, and verbal processing. Students that have difficulty in this category have a hard time processing what they hear. It's not a test of hearing, but a test of how well the brain recognizes what they are hearing. In this test, the word discrimination subtest performance suggests Clifford was below average ability in discriminating speech sounds. Children who have difficulty in this area are often poor spellers. He was also given the Self-4 language screen, which he failed, and this has prompted a referral to our speech and language pathologist to conduct more testing. Clifford was also given the Reynolds Intellectual Assessment Scale, which is a test of intellectual problem solving and reasoning abilities. It's an IQ test. On this test, Clifford scored, had a verbal IQ of 80, which is low average. Again, 90 to 110 is an average range. His nonverbal IQ was 92, which is average. Full scale IQ of 84, which fell below average. And on memory, he had 83, which was low average. So on this, the verbal and nonverbal abilities are comparable in the low and average range. He was also given the Woodcock-Johnson Test of Achievement, 3rd edition. This test measures general intellectual ability. in this test, his total achievement was a standard score of 64, which was very low, and it showed a grade equivalent of about a 2.6, which means second grade, 6th month of school. His academic skills showed an average score of 63, which was again very low. His total reading was a 72, which was low. His total math was a 69, which was very low. And his total writing was at a 62, which was again very low. Academic applications was a standard score of a 69, which again was very low. These scores show Clifford's academic skills are generally in the deficit range in all core subjects. He had difficulty decoding words, which impedes his ability to glean meaning from passages. He is a weak speller who writes simple sentences that lack complexity and details, and he fails to always capitalize the first word. He also tends to write phases rather than complete sentences, and writing samples have incorrect use of grammar and several misspellings. His knowledge of calculation procedures includes simple addition and subtraction and some very basic knowledge of multiplication facts. He can add coin values and make change, but his math reasoning skills are otherwise quite restricted. He was given the Woodcock Reading Mastery Test to test reading readiness and reading achievement. Again, an average score is between 90 and 110. On this test, his basic skills in word identification and word attack were in the 59, were a 59, which is showing a grade equivalent of a 1.7. His reading comprehension was at a standard score of 73, which is showing that he has a lot of difficulty in this area. His total reading score was a 60, which is in the deficit area and shows extreme difficulty with reading. He was given the test of written language, 4th edition, and this test tests three different components of written language. Now, on the subtest, one subtest was general writing ability, which he scored in the 25th percentile. The second subtest was productivity, which he scored in the 2nd percentile. Word complexity was below the 1st percentile, and readability was, again, lesser than the 1st percentile. So Clifford's results indicated very poor written expression skills. He was given the Key Math 3, which tests his essential math skills. In the area of basic math concepts, he scored a standard score of 77. In operations was a 77, which these scores again are below average. Applications was a 69, and total math was a score of 75. Clifford displayed limited math skills with grade equivalents more than 2 grade levels behind his peers. He was given the Attention Deficit Disorder Assessment, and on this score, there was no significant evidence of attention deficit disorder symptoms at home or at school. He was given the ABIS for adaptive behavior, and this measures those behaviors which are necessary for success in school, but are not necessarily measured by academic testing. And so with this, it measures communication, academic use, academics, home and school living, health and safety, leisure, self-care, self-direction, and social skills. The only significant weakness indicated in social skills at school. Clifford displays average skills in all other areas. He was given the Brigance Comprehensive Inventory of Basic Skills. Clifford showed a reading grade equivalent on the Brigance of a 3.5, and again, that's 3rd grade, 5th month. In computational math skills, he showed a grade placement of a 3.9. In problem solving, grade placement of a 2, and a total math grade equivalent of a 3.3. Clifford's strengths on these exams showed he had strengths in passage comprehension, basic math operations, his nonverbal IQ, and adaptive behavior. All of these scores were in the average range. His weaknesses include decoding words, and he had weaknesses in spelling and word attack and math applications. Those conclude Clifford's test scores.